Hey everyone, my name is JP Ruggieri and welcome to my three-part video series on playing slide guitar. I thought this would be a fun thing to do because I remember when I was first starting to play slide, it was very difficult to find any good videos that would talk about the technical aspects of playing slide and how to practice them. And there are indeed many technical aspects to it that are very different from playing normal guitar. So I'm going to break them down into three separate videos. The first one, which is what we're on now, is going to be about intonation. The second is going to be about right hand technique, and the third is just going to be about how to think about the fretboard in terms of, I think, just seeing things on a more horizontal spectrum as opposed to a vertical, which I think is more of the conventional way of thinking of guitar. So yeah, let's get into it real quick. At the moment, for the past probably 8 or 10 months, I've been playing on a ceramic slide. This is mine. I was doing glass before that for many years, and one of my friends gave this to me, and I just kind of gravitated toward it. It's got a very kind of fat tone to it. But any slide will do. They make them in steel, which will be a bit harsher of a sound, but it's fine. You could use any finger that you want. I use the ring finger. I find it kind of, I don't know, I think maybe if I were to go back again, maybe the pinky would be the most convenient, because I kind of play, I do most of my playing in standard tuning. But there's not as much control with that finger, I find, but that's just my personal preference. You could use any of these three fingers, really. I wouldn't suggest the first one because you need to put your other fingers behind the slide and just kind of put them on the strings to what's called dampening. You need to dampen the strings behind it. So if you don't, you get all these overtones, which can actually be cool in certain situations, but for the most part, for about 90% of when you play slide, you need to have at least one finger behind. And there's also something called behind the slide fingering. I don't know if that's the actual technical aspect, the technical term, but that's when you could play like dyads. Or it's like when you push down behind the slide, and you could get the notes behind that. We're going to talk about that in video 3, so I won't get too into that now. But anyway, let's not get sidetracked. Intonation is kind of the most frustrating part of playing slide guitar, and I don't think it ever really stops. It's something that you're always going to be working on. But it does get a lot more comfortable, and it gets easier for sure. The way that I worked on intonation, and the way that I still do, is by using a drone. This is a really great tool. This is called the freeze pedal, and it does just what it says. That you kind of play a tone, and it'll, or multiple tones, and it'll kind of keep them going. So right now, let's go in the key of E. Like I've got what's called the E5 chord here, so it's just an E chord with no third, and I'm gonna put that on, and I'm gonna go on the B string. So we'll be playing on the B string, and I'm gonna be thinking in terms of E major. So you could do a number of things. You could play a melody. You could practice just intervals, maybe going from the root to the second or the root to the third. or you know, the root to the fifth, whatever it is that you want to do. Let me just play a scale real quick. So I got my drone on. I'm going to play E major scale on the B string. So this is starting on the 5th fret. There's my root. So the key is to go very slowly to make sure that you're really in tune. This isn't about speed or trying to sound cool or whatnot. The main thing we want to be doing right now is training our hands, our finger to kind of line up with our ear. So it's root to second, second to third, third to fourth. That was kind of not so good. Let me do that one again. There we go. 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 1. I always find going down to be harder. Don't make sure you don't skip that. So that's one thing. Another thing that's really great, especially if you're just having trouble doing that, just start with just one note, and even this is a really great practice. So you get your note in tune, and then maybe go a little flat. You start to hear it, and then fix it. A motorcycle or car just came by and kind of messed with my ear a little bit. So we go flat. There we go. Okay, now go sharp. Fix it. And you're just training your ear to kind of line up with your hand. Maybe we'll do that on the second. Okay, there it is. Sharp. You can do this throughout the whole scale. Another thing is just practicing intervals. So let's go in thirds. Scale like that. So these are really great things. If you feel like you're having a hard time being able to tell if it's in tune or not, plug into a tuner. I used to use the Boss TU3, which I still have, but I used to use it on the bypass mode when I was first learning to play slide, just to really see if I was, you know, perfectly in tune or not. And I would just kind of leave that on while the drone was going and I was practicing and kind of stare at it. So that's a really great thing. Now kind of a more musical exercise that you could do too is just taking a simple melody and playing that with the drone on very slowly. So maybe map the melody out before you play, just to get comfortable with it, because maybe you haven't taken the time to learn it just on one string. That's kind of the key here. Just for the sake of practicing, I would encourage you just to stay on one string, so that you're kind of forced to slide and forced to work on, you know, different spacings. So let's take the old song "Save the Last Dance" for Me. I've always thought that was a really beautiful melody. So I'm gonna do it in the key of E, and I'm only gonna do it on the B string. So I'll put the drone on. There's my drone, and I'm just gonna go through the melody very slowly. And again, I'm just striving to get good intonation here. So. that's that. Try that out. You could also, if you don't have a freeze pedal, you could totally do, if you're doing it in the key of E, you could use your E string. If you're in the key of A, you can use your A string. You could also go onto YouTube, which you're currently on now, and just type into the search bar drones. They have really cool ones that I like a lot. I type in Indian drones, and they have some with percussion that are really great just for kind of working on your time feel and doing that in a more musical situation. So try this out. Go very slow. It's not, you're not trying to sound cool, or you're not trying to sound flashy. This is simply a practice. So the slower that you can do it, the better. You want everything to feel comfortable. Don't have any tension in your shoulders or your arms. If you do, then you're just playing too fast. I should say you're playing too fast too soon. So it doesn't mean that you won't be able to play that fast, but just slow down for now and have a good time with it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for video 2 on right hand technique. All right, take good care.